Alright, morning everyone. I'm here doing the rear air suspension valve block on a 2013 Land Rover Discovery. Land Rover Discovery 4. The valve block itself is situated behind the near side rear, situated on the near side rear airbag struts, so just here. Much easier. Take the wheel off, jack it all up, make sure it's nice and level. Take this near side rear wheel off, just gives you a lot more access. There's a few videos online that talk about actually how to replace the seals inside. I would thoroughly recommend doing that rather than replacing with a new valve, which is a lot of money. 4x4 Air Seals was a company that I used to get the seals from. They're really good. They've got a lot of videos on their website about how to actually replace the seals themselves. So just head over to them, and like I say, when you actually get the kit, they give you a lot of instruction as well on how to replace the seals. This video really is just to show you some of the tips, little things that I learned as I was doing this, because it is a bit of a faff. There's not a lot of room there. There is a guy who I think was doing it on a Discovery 3 who took the spare wheel off in order to get underneath. I don't know if you can see, but there's where that huge great plate is that's now in the center of the shot, that on his wasn't there, so he had a nice big gap in order to get through to the back of the valve. Unfortunately, it would seem that Land Rover have changed that, and now you've got that in the way, so you can't get to the back of the valve. So it's very simple. Once you've got into the valve, the first thing I would do is, obviously you've got to take the electrical connector off. That's fairly straightforward. Then the block itself actually just sits on 3 rubber grommets. If you just give it a good wiggle, maybe a bit of WD-40 or silicone spray of some description, and it will just pop out. And then, as you can see, 1, 2, 3 grommets there that just insert into there, and then you push it down, and then that relocates it in. Now, in order to get the bottom pipe off, and just to give it a little bit of stability while I did that, bear in mind none of these unions are particularly tight, but it's worth just trying to be as stable as you can. It is all plastic after all. Now obviously you've got 3 corresponding holes on the plate at the back here. Not sure if you can really see that. If you pick the one that's closest to you and at the top, and if you insert that bottom grommet into that closest one, like this, then what it does is it raises the valve up, brings it towards you a bit more, but it just makes it a bit more stable whilst you get that bottom union off. Once that bottom union's off, you then can take that out. It's got a little bit more movement to it, and you can then drop it down, and that will then give you the 2 unions on the back. The one with the green tape on it that goes towards the rear of the vehicle is one on top, and the one that goes towards the front of the vehicle that has no tape on it is at the bottom. That's something that I forgot quite quickly, so it's worth noting that before you start taking anything apart. Now, in terms of getting those unions out, like I say, once you've got it forward like this, it does make life a little bit easier. In order to achieve that, the other thing I did was on the top of the suspension turret, you've got the air pipe that goes in, and that pipe is held, I don't know if you can see, that pipe is held in with a little grommet and a cable tie. All I did was get a pair of long nose pliers in there and just levered that out, and what that does then is just give that top pipe a little bit more flexibility, so that you can then maneuver it about and actually get the valve out. In order to get your hand into the top of the turret, there is a little cover that sits up over this electrical connection here. It's held on by 2 clips, one on either side. Just pop those clips out, and then that pops down, and you can get your hand in over the top a lot easier. Don't do what I did and just force it, because I didn't realise that at the time. Then you get your hand in over the top, get that grommet out, and if you need to, you can always just get your hand in behind then to steady the pipe. It's not so much of an issue getting the pipes out, it's getting the pipes in. You want to be really, really careful that you don't cross thread. You've got brass fittings into a plastic casing, So if you start cross-threading, it's going to cause you all sorts of expensive problems. A little bit of the actual kit from 4x4 Air Seals comes with some lubricant. I use that on the seal and on a tiny little bit on the threads, and also a bit of silicone spray just in the top of the unions, and just give them a little twist, just to loosen them up a bit. They are still quite difficult to turn, but once you get that pipe in, if you can, just with your fingers, just give it a few little turns just to get that first little thread located in, and then use my new tool. I'm all about adapting tools. Very, very cheap 12mm spanner. It is a 12mm for all three of those unions. All I did was cut down the shaft of the spanner, just leaving the open end. I've left about 1.5 inches there of shaft, and then just put some tape around it just to make it easier to grip hold of. That is all you will need in order to get those unions undone. It allows you to get in there and just get the spanner in there a lot easier. And to be honest, you're not doing these unions up massively tight, so you won't need anything longer than this really to do them up again once you've got them back in. Like I say, in terms of actual instructions on how to replace the seals in the kit, there's plenty of videos online about that already, but I thought I'd just share with you some of these little hints and tips about how to get the block out, how to get the pipes out and back in again. I hope that's useful. Take care now.